moving into next week, I'll be able to look at your different topics and have a good idea of which databases to really focus a lot on. And I'm going to just use this time for now to be able to pull up the databases handout and just show you a little bit of what might be out there for you to be able to consider should you be thinking about where you may be able to pull your data from. So I just downloaded it. I've got this document here, and you can click on the various links. The first one will pull up county health rankings and roadmaps, which is a great tool if you're wanting to compare how your state or your county is doing compared to the nation with respect to what's on the kind of the lay public facing website. But if you want to use the data that goes behind this for potentially developing like statistical models or for assessing correlations, and you're going to do it kind of on a national scale, it's great to be able to go to Explore Health Rankings. Then you would click on Use the Data, Learn More, and then here we've got Use the Data and these different options. And at the very bottom we got Rankings, Data, and Documentation. And then here you can actually download the Excel file, and they've got other years if you want to go back to compare changes year over year. If I click on this one right here, I will be able to pull it up. If you're interested in what the variables mean, you can pull up the data dictionary, PDF, and Excel files. So when I download this, it's a 12 megabyte file, and then you get the rankings themselves on kind of like the earlier pages, so how they did on their rankings. But as you continue to further go down the list, you can see the years of potential life lost. You can see all kinds of information, the percent that rank their health poor or fair, low birth weight, the adult smoking rate, the adult obesity rate, the food environment index. I mean, there's all kinds of information on here. There's the rankings, which you may not be as interested in, additional measured data. So you have county level life expectancy data. They even break it out by race, age-adjusted mortality, child mortality. Some counties, the information may be missing. Diabetes prevalence, HIV prevalence. There's all kinds of stuff. They also tell you where their data came from. So all good information. So that's county health rankings, or county health rankings and roadmaps. And the national, the federal government is not the sponsor of this. It's actually the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, and then they send this money, and I believe it's like the Population Institute or something like that at the University of Wisconsin, that then leverages all known data sources that they think is helpful for this. So they leverage a lot of the federally funded research that comes through, like the Behavior Risk Factor Surveillance Survey and the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey. So Burfus and NHANES provide a lot of the background data that feeds into their kind of county level data. So good information. And you can take this information and also pair it up with information from other data sources that may be on this list. So that was a little bit on county health rankings and roadmaps. Another one that a lot of people are often interested in is CDC Wonder. So this is a great one, and we'll go to it in a second. I want to go back real quick. You have state cancer profiles. So state cancer profiles, you can actually get county level data on cancer. And I'm going to pause this for a second. Okay, so we can click on like any of these, but I believe demographics will work. And it pulls up this right here. So data topics, interactive maps, tables. I usually start off with interactive maps because you can still get your Excel sheet from there. So we can pull up the entire United States, area type, we'll say by county, data group. We can do cancer rates, cancer, we can do all cancer sites, or we can look at like lung cancer. We can do cancer incidence, all stages, or just late stage cancer incidence, or mortality. So we'll do all stages. Race, we can do individual races or all races. We'll do both sexes. Age, do all ages. And we'll do like the latest, we can do latest single year, or we'll do latest 5-year average. If you do latest 5-year average, and some of these things, especially when the cancers are more rare, you'll have a greater likelihood of having data from every county in the United States. But there's pros and cons of doing that, so I'll just hold off on there. I can click generate map just so I can visualize it, I can see it. And you may be interested at some point when you're developing the public health significance aspect of your paper, pulling information from a website like this. So it's still waiting, it's still pulling the information, and you can see that the data are either not available. So that's in some cases, you got areas of like Kansas and Minnesota, many western Texas counties, low populated areas. Sometimes there's not enough cases. Minnesota, for whatever reason, just doesn't provide any. There are maybe counties where there's X's, where it's suppressed. You can almost see like the Kentucky state map here with the red on how common it is relative to the rest of the nation with respect to lung and bronchus cancer. So it's a real clear hot spot for lung and bronchus cancer. It's this part of the United States, as well as parts of apparently Maine. You can change this to screening and risk factors. In the topic, we could pick on smoking, and we could do ever smokers and pull up that map just so you can kind of see the information that's out there. And you can see that it's not necessarily all of Kentucky, so it does make one wonder why Kentucky, smoking is obviously a big part of it, but why smoking is such a strong risk factor, but why cancer and living in Kentucky is such a risk factor for getting lung and bronchus cancer. All right, if you want to go back to any of these, we can always export data, and when we export data, it will give us county level data organized by FIPS code. So this is a .csv file, which is a .comma separated value file, and a variety of programs can open that. Excel being one. This particular free stat program that I happened to download a while back is wanting to open it on its own. I guess it selected itself as kind of the first one, and I don't think that it did a very good job opening it. So I want to go to where that file was downloaded, and I'm going to open this file with Microsoft Excel. And when I open it with Microsoft Excel, I can see the information here, and I see the federal identifier for like the location by county, so that would allow us to sync it up. Right now, it appears to be showing the entire United States average. Age adjusted is 58.3 cases per 100,000. The next county that's highest in the United States is the age adjusted right here is 196.3 per 100,000. And then here are the counties that are next for lung cancer in the United States. Owsley County, Breathitt County, Hardin County, Illinois, Knox County, Kentucky, Powell County, Carroll County, Perry County, Floyd, McCreary, this county in Alaska, Clay County, Whitley County, Harlan County, Galax City in Southwest Virginia, Lake County, Tennessee. So these are kind of like the top 25. Well, not top 25, but top 15. Mingo, Leslie, a lot of Appalachian counties. A lot of counties not very far from this very spot where I'm recording this. Lewis County, Bracken County up on the river, Pike County in the far east end of the state, Estill County just down the road. So that's information for county health rankings, or not county health rankings, but from the National Cancer Institute partners with the Centers for Disease Control, and they provide this through a program that once was called SEER, SEER.cancer.gov, and SEER for Surveillance, Epidemiology, and End Results Program. So I'm going to stop this, and now we're going to pull up wonder.cdc.gov, which provides a lot of information on a variety of online databases that are out there. The one that I think generates the most attention on the CDC Wonder website, I think the cancer one goes back to kind of pulling information from where we were just at. But the one that seems to get the most interest is the information from like the National Vital Statistics files related to cause of death. So we'll go to that and look at that here in a second. This WONDER is actually a long acronym if you were wanting to look it up. All right, with respect to the underlying causes of death, you can look at the multiple cause of death file for the most level of detail. And you can look at this archive here for these various years, or you can go back 20 years. Again, when there is less than like 1 to 5 cases in a given U.S. county, you're not going to be able to get information for that county. It's suppressed. So when you spread it out over searching, 20 years, the likelihood that you're going to have more than like 5 cases will be good. They pull up this information on CDC Wonders information here telling you that you won't try to use this information to like violate somebody's confidentiality. So I agree to all that. We can group our results by U.S. county. If we want to pull up county information, we can also group it by other levels, but county is sufficient for me. I'm interested in getting the age-adjusted rates. That's my interest here, I guess. I'm going to be interested in all counties in the United States, which is currently selected. We can also differentiate or look by like metro region or if it's a metro population or not. You can pick on certain age groups with respect to when they may have died. So you can do all ages for now. You can pick gender or race and Hispanic origin or not. We can do all years. All is automatically selected. And then which day of the week a person may die. You can actually look to see which days are the highest or lowest with respect to all diseases or with respect to cause of death for one particular disease by a given day of week. So then we have the Icd-10 codes. That this is what it's saying that it's going to be using. If you want to see diseases of the respiratory system, all diseases of the respiratory system, you can, or you can open that J000 to J98 and then click on these little plus arrows and they'll open more fully, and it'll show you some of these underlying other things. So if you wanted to see how many people died from avian influenza, you could do that. If you wanted to see how many people died from influenza with pneumonia, you could do that. Influenza and pneumonia, you can do that one. So we'll just look at how many people died with influenza and pneumonia. And then this is multiple cause of death, so you can also pair it up with some other like underlying condition. So how many people died with influenza and pneumonia who also may have had, we'll look at some circulatory system type disease. So let me open this more fully. Hypertensive diseases, so like high blood pressure, and this is going to pick on like I believe like all the high blood pressures. So there's a variety of different combinations and individual ones, but we're going to search how many people died with influenza and pneumonia from all hypertensive diseases, and then we could export it to somewhere. I'm going to hit send. It's going to process this request, and you can play around with this if you want, and you can also pair this information up with county level information from County Health Facts to be able to create your own kind of research questions looking at associations between county level causes of death and county level kind of maybe risk factors or predictors. Again, this is ecologic data, so it does have its flaws if you were to be comparing or making correlations for county level data. So here are the counties in the United States. Here's their information, and these are the counties where you've got age-adjusted rates for the various counties, and when there's not a good statistically significant result, it just tells you unreliable. You still got the deaths per population, so you could potentially force it 11 out of 550,000 and disregard the crude rate as being unreliable, or you could just focus on the counties where you have a reliable estimate. You can imagine rural counties or counties that have very low populations in particular may have a lot more of these unreliables that are in here. Right now, this is an order by county in the United States by FIPS code in kind of like alphabetical order. If you wanted to deal with it by age-adjusted rate and pick kind of the ones that are the worst to the best, if you were to do so, you would see that Harlan County, Kentucky has the highest kind of death rate as it relates to having died from influenza or pneumonia while also having an underlying condition like hypertension. So that means they died from pneumonia or influenza as one of their causes of death, and they also had hypertension. So they could have died from like a heart attack and also had pneumonia and influenza and hypertension. So that death certificate data that feeds into this allows for like up to 25 different underlying causes of death to have been put on the form by the medical examiner. So you can play around with this. You see a variety of counties on here, that are central Appalachia counties. These are like southern West Virginia coal counties. So you could also imagine maybe other conditions, coal mining related conditions, black lung disease or things like that, or maybe not black lung disease, but there are other respiratory diseases, where a person could have a fibrotic lung from exposure to like other things other than coal. So we'll let you scroll down and you can look through all that information on your own. You can also look at the entire United States as well. You don't have to break it out by county. You could pick it with 1 or 2 or 3 different underlying causes of death. You could leave it blank just to see how many people died from it altogether and make your own informed judgments on whether or not people died with underlying causes of death or not. So that's just a little bit on CDC wonders. So those are the major ones. I might go to these other ones here, I think, in a future video for like next week. But this will get you started. This one's still kind of a cool one too. The National Electronic Injury Surveillance System. You can search to see if like how many people were injured or harmed from any object that you could theoretically buy. You could look at how many people got hurt, from a toilet or from maybe like disinfectants or from a four-wheeler or a quad runner. So there's a lot of interesting information there. It's just not synced up as well at the county level anymore. So I think you can dig and get it by state level, but trying to get it at the county level is a little harder. This is a little bit on some of the data sources that are out there, and you can start maybe thinking about like if you had a study type where you're going to look at mortality data or needed county level data, you could get some of it through some of those websites. I'll stop here.